What is going on, YouTube? This is yours truly, ATUM-RE, coming at you guys with another video. Before we go in, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I got a subscriber request to do this video, and the name of this topic is going to be, what should you do if you were pulled over by the police and you are armed? Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go through the scenario, just pretend like I'm getting pulled over right now. I got, make sure I'm driving right now. Whoop, whoop, whoop. See the, the blue lights in the rear view mirror or, your back window. The very first thing I would do is ensure that I do not have a firearm in plain view. Because you don't want to have a firearm in plain view once that officer comes over to your driver's side window. That could trigger a negative nervous reaction. You got to remember that this police officer or officers do not know you from Adam. They don't know if you're a criminal. They have no, you never know how they're wired. So my advice is to never have a firearm, displayed in plain sight. Okay. All right, so let's just go through the scenario. So make sure when that police officer comes up, make sure you have your hands in plain sight. I keep my hand on the steering wheel so that he can see my hands and see what my intentions are. So the first thing the police officer is going to ask you is to see your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance. Now, a lot of people will say, this is the moment when you should tell the officer that, hey, I have a gun. I'm not going to do that. So here's what I'm going to do. Once the officer asks me for my license, registration, and proof of insurance, I am going to tell the officer exactly where that information is. I'm not going to just go and reach for it. I'm going to say, hey, officer, I have all that information here in my glove compartment. Is it okay to, go for it? And the officer is going to either, acknowledge that, yeah, you can go ahead and grab it. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to provide him with my registration, insurance, driver's license, and my concealed carry permit. You see how smooth that is? I didn't say, hey, I have a gun. I'm just going to provide that concealed carry permit when I submit over the other documentation that he's asking for. So once he sees the concealed weapons permit, automatically he's probably going to ask you, do you have a weapon in the car? And that's when you can actually tell the officer, that you have a firearm. That is much more of a smooth transition than saying, hey, I got a gun, as soon as he comes to the window. That's not the way to do things. So again, what I would do is once he asks for all your paperwork, just neatly include the concealed weapon permit, and it'll ask you where, do you have a firearm? And you're going to say, yeah, and whatever you do, don't go reach for your firearm. They're going to give you instructions on what to do. They're probably going to tell you to get out your car and search your car and just tell them where your firearm is. But don't go reaching for anything without the officer's instructions, and keep your hands where the officer can actually see him, and make sure you make eye contact with the officer. That way you can, see what your intent is, keep your hands, in view of the actual officer. But again, that is what I would do. So I'll just kind of go over the steps again. All right, so if I get pulled over by a cop, hands on the steering wheel. Okay, hands on the steering wheel. Make sure I do not have a firearm in sight. Do not have a firearm in sight. Again, that can trigger a very, very nervous reaction from an officer that does not yet know you, and you do not know what that officer has been through. So try to keep that firearm concealed when you actually are pulled over. Keep your hands, where the actual officer can see them. Keep your hands where they can see them. And again, he's going to ask you again for your license, registration, proof of insurance. Again, do not just go grab for that stuff. To say, hey, officer, here is where my driver's license and all that information is. Is it okay for me to grab for it? And again, he'll give you the acknowledgement that you can go ahead and grab your paperwork. And amongst grabbing your paperwork, this includes your concealed weapon permit. Again, you don't have to just say, hey, I got a gun in the car. Just neatly package that in there with your other paperwork, and then the officer will ask you, do you have a firearm? And you will acknowledge yes. But whatever you do, please do not grab for the firearm. The police will give you instructions from there. But that is basically it. I can go around and around with this, but it's really simple. I hope this helps out the subscriber that asked for this. I don't have the name. I'm sorry. I apologize. I should have probably you know, had your name here in the video, but I am on my way to the gym. I just wanted to do a little quick video in reference to this. But again, those are my steps. You guys have anything you may want to add, you know, you tell me what you think. Tell me, you know, what you would do if you were pulled over by the cops. But that is the way I would do it. But that is pretty much all I have. I will catch you guys in the next video. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Like always, the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. 2-way up.